right, here we are. So excited. Official episode 1 of the Girlhood Hangover. So anything that has happened in the past is no longer. I am Jackie Pinkston by legality. Married Iliopolis. Got into that Greek fam. So we'll change that eventually, right?
Love that.
Anyways, by trade, my day job out in the wild, I am a registered nurse. And just here for fun and talking about all of the hoods: girlhood, womanhood, motherhood, however you want to spin it. We're going to talk about it, and I'm really excited. And I've got Stephanie here with me. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, hello. Yes, Stephanie Jewel Edge by the government. But you can just call me Steph if you want to. Only my friends usually, though. So it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
I am Edge for probably not much longer, not many years of my life, unfortunately. It's the best last name ever. I'm going to be really sad to get rid of that one.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's like
it's hard.
there's no hyphenating it. Like there you
No.
just no.
Mhm.
It's
It
just
would
going
be
to be
too
one of
long
those
for
things.
me. I thought about it. I
Yeah.
like Jackie Pinkston just like rolls off the tongue. Jackie Eliopoulos. People are like, I'm sorry, come again?
Is it well la la lulu? Yeah, is that what you said? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am by day, I do customer success in the job advertising world. So, I get paid to talk to people, which suits well because I was definitely one of those kids that had on their report card talks too much. Really
You
great
know,
student, but talks too much.
I never got that one, but I think it was always like my inability to like be socially what's the word I'm looking for? I was very socially awkward, or at least I thought I was. But as I've gotten older, I'm a lot more outgoing. Just wasn't as
I just
I
think you weren't
tiptoed
here.
into social
You just weren't here for people's bullshit. So you were just like, I'm just going
from
to
the
stay
get go.
quiet from the get go.
Third
You're like, I'm
grade, I'm
just going to
like,
stay quiet.
stay the fuck away from me, please.
Right, literally.
I'm not about this life. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
But you
gosh.
also, like, don't forget that you are a graduate of a no, I was gonna say BSN. That's me. Hello.
That's you.
But
I
you have
would
a
never.
bachelor's in science of psycho. I would never. You know what? I don't blame you. I don't recommend it. It's very ghetto. Like, really, if you are thinking about going to nursing school, I want you to really, really go inside your own mind and figure out why. That's
If
all
you
I'm
want to
gonna
go to
say.
college, period, like make
For
sure that
sure.
you want it.
For sure, because you have your bachelor's in psychology, which is amazing and has
I
brought
do.
you a lot of experience, and also your master's degree in marketing.
That's correct.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah.
We've only been. Oh, we've been friends for this is year 7, 8. Are we in lucky number 7?
I think,
Wait,
wait.
2017.
Yeah, so then we're in
8.
year 8.
We just hit year 8 in May,
Hmm.
which is awesome. So we've been through lots together, a lot of great experiences together, and not together, but there for each other during those times, which I think is awesome. Kind of relationships that have ebbed and flowed, and relationships we've left, and mistakes that we've made, and questionable decisions that we
Hey,
both
that
made.
roller coaster ride of life. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. But
Yeah, fun is definitely a good word.
yes, fun has definitely been a part of the situation since day one. But I love that we've ebbed and flowed through these different phases of life and still come back around to each other, still had each other as a constant in some of our adult life because I feel like there's not enough focus or like attention on the people that you meet in your adult life in those relationships. Like, yeah, I definitely have friends that I've had since childhood that I love dearly and that I'm still close with, but I think it's really cool to make friends in the later years of life when you are still figuring your shit out, still figuring out who you are, and you can ride or die with them and move forward and just like, yeah, you want to go through this hellstorm together? Right on, let's do it.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Especially like to meet you and become such a great friend when you didn't have kids and I did. And that for me spoke volumes because it was hard enough to keep friends that I had before I had them, and then during my pregnancies and afterwards, and like keeping up with those relationships. So the fact that when you can make friendships last and like that connection as an adult, when you have so many other factors, not just relationships or jobs, but those tiny little humans that need you constantly, like that meant the world to me, more than I think you will ever know. I can't express it enough to you. I mean, you babysat for me, and I know if you were still in the same city, because I'm in Phoenix permanently and you are in Illinois now permanently, but
Mm-hmm.
your move, which we'll get into because we're talking about taking chances and new experiences. So we'll get into your move and your decisions and things like that. But absolutely. And this is kind of what our podcast is all about, is those friendships that have lasted and everything that we have gone through, friends we've lost, relationships we've lost, gained, and just everything in between and all the things that come along with it. So I'm really excited to dive into all these topics that we have planned out, and week by week, just getting after it and adding some more fun things along the way, hopefully. Goals. We've
Goals.
got goals. So
That
anyway,
we
so
do.
mine, today we want to talk about getting into taking chances and kind of going into fresh starts. And for us, our podcast is one of our biggest adventures and fresh starts that we are taking a chance on. And I've gotten a lot of, really? You're starting a podcast? Like, what is it even going to be about? I mean, just, those kind of like remarks, but I think it was fun and kind of a little confidence booster to start telling people about it. I don't know what it's been like for you over in Illinois, or if you have talked about it. So if you want to tell me a little bit about your kind of like intro to people close to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like starting a podcast is one of those things that like everybody says now. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna start a podcast. Like everybody is like, yeah, we should start a podcast. We're so funny. We should start a podcast. And I am glad that I have said this to you personally, obviously, but I am so glad that you are a doer. And I am a Pisces dreamer through and through. And I will dream up every little idea out there and be like, this would be so cool if we did this. So cool if we did this. And you're like, all right, cool. Well, I already did it. And I started an Instagram and we're on schedule. So like, get your shit together. And I'm like, bet, because I need that. But yeah, I have told a lot of people that are close to me in my life. I shared it on my Instagram story when we first started, and I got a lot of like cool feedback. Like people were excited. Like it almost feels sometimes like you're gonna feel like imposter syndrome a little bit. Like, what am I doing? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
what do I have to say? Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, are people actually going to want to listen to it? And who gives a shit if anybody listens to it, honestly? Because this
Amen.
is just fun. Amen. Because this is just fun. This is a place for us to have the chit chats that we're going to have anyways on the phone, but
Absolutely.
we get to have this designated time to have topics that we want to talk about, that we think that maybe other people would want to listen in on, and maybe they could get something from it too. Almost kind of like a big sister. Like, I don't have a big sister. You do. You got a couple. But
We can
for
talk
us to,
about them.
right. But it's for us to be able to be kind of like that friend, that big sister conversation that other people get to have. Like, you just want to listen to two girls yapping about God knows what. Here you are. Welcome to the Girlhood Hangover, because that is literally what it's going to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was listening to another podcast today, and this is a main one that I listen to. It's called Girls Gotta Eat. It's very popular. I'm sure anybody, maybe out of the 5 people who will listen to this, might know what I'm talking about. But they have done a lot for me in the past 5 years that I've been listening to them, and I just think that that's been a huge help. But I was listening to an episode today, and they were just saying, they were asking questions on their podcast and who they were talking to. They were like, the feedback we got, we just realized like, oh, they're just like us. And it's like, I think everybody is more alike than we think, and we all kind of go through very similar situations or have very similar thought process. I mean, by human nature, right? Like, we're gonna have similar life experiences and feelings and and whatnot. So I think that's also something to note about like starting, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, who's going to even relate to me? I have such a weird like adulthood dynamic. I mean, I started off as a teen mom and kind of was thrown into the wolves, whereas you had a more traditional approach. You went to college, after high school and got to have that experience. And I think that's also what makes us a great duo, is that we have found each other in two very different paths of life, and we were able to make a strong connection and keep a connection even from halfway across the country. And look at us now on a freaking podcast making time for each other on a freaking Monday. So
Doing the damn thing while our men are watching the kids, you know?
hell yeah. So I think so anyways. Yeah. No, he's down there. He's down there. Yeah.
So as long as they're alive, it's all right.
Right? I mean, that's all you can ask for, is fed, changed, and alive, breathing by the time I get home or I'm done working. So, anyways. But all right, let's get into it. So, biggest risk you've ever taken? It doesn't have to be moving to Arizona. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken? Seriously, what is it?
Honestly, it was probably that. Honestly, that was
Yeah?
probably
Okay.
honestly the biggest thing that I have ever done for myself. The biggest like leap I've ever taken was probably moving to Arizona, because I grew up in a very small town. Like everybody knew everybody, and literally like every country music song you've ever heard was my high school experience growing up, and which is great. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But when I came into my early 20s, I started realizing that there weren't a lot of people around me that I envied their life. And that for me wasn't okay. I wanted something that was going to motivate me and to have that kind of situation around me. And also, I hadn't taken a lot of risks in life. I had taken the safe path for the most part. Like when I went to college, I started off at like a junior college, and just took the basics. I did some journalism, some writing. I was always good at it, so I was like, might as well just do this, right? And then I went to university to get my bachelor's, and I went into psychology because I was the listener. I was the person that everybody told their problems to, and I was like, cool, this is easy, I can do this. I never really took like the hard resistive path towards anything. I didn't move away
Yeah.
for school. Like school was 40 minutes from my parents' house. My other friends went there. I didn't apply to like a big state school to see if I could get in or anything like that. And so I finally, honestly, all of that built up. And then the breaking point for me was I knew that I wanted to get married and have a family one day. And it felt like everyone around me was either married or had slept with one of my friends. And I was like,
I'm trying to run around the same blocks every week.
that's what I wasn't really looking for that, for a husband like that. So I was like, I need to make the pool bigger, right? So I started playing around with the idea of moving, and I had friends that had lived in other states, and I had family in Texas, and there was people in California and Alabama and all these places. And I finally had a friend tell me that they were just in love with Arizona. And I had never even considered it, honestly. And so one of my friends from high school, she lived down there already. She was doing her master's program. And I was like, hey, can I come stay on your couch and see if I like Arizona? And she was like, sure, absolutely. Let out my dog a couple of times a day and we're in. I was like, cool, great, I can do that. So went, fell in love. One of my friends connected me with another one of her friends, and he ended up needing a roommate. And so I went down in April, and then I moved by October 1st.
Oh yeah,
And
because you got bamboozled with missing a summer.
I
Didn't
did.
know what
I
you were getting
did.
into in the middle of Arizona summer. Yeah.
1,000%.
You miss it a little
1,000%.
bit? Do you miss it a little bit?
I mean, I miss like the valley as a whole. Do I miss
Oh, for
the
sure.
heat? But I will say it's been pretty uncomfortable outside here. It's been like 80 and humid, which
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like nothing compared to Arizona, but like here it's just like stifling. Like there's condensation on the windows when you wake up in the morning because it's so humid outside.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah,
We
it's
get that like with monsoons though. I mean, we'll get that humidity. I think a
a
lot of
little
people
bit.
forget that when they're like thinking when
Hmm.
they don't live here and stuff cuz or even when people live here they're like, "Oh, I can't wait for the rain." And I'm like, "Why? Why? You want to walk outside and not breathe because you're just there's so much moisture and it's like and then you're drowning. I don't know.
Maybe they
If
miss
there's
it.
like one thing I can say, as much as I loathe 110-degree weather, it's that there was a bug. Anyways, is that I don't like the humidity. So like Texas would never be for me. Florida, absolutely not. Well, Florida for so many reasons, but humidity definitely is one of
Yeah.
them. I mean, even the East Coast, like George is from, my husband George is from Long Island in New York. And we were out there a few years ago in the summer, and I was like, no. I can deal with it while we visit, but no, I'm a dry heat kind of person. I mean, in general, I'm not really a heat person. I'd rather be, sunny and 75 every day of my life. But,
I mean, yeah,
those
it's
places
either that
cost
or the fall, right? Either
for
that or like
sure.
a perfect autumn day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. With apple picking and like a nice little, I'm not a pumpkin spice girly, but no judgment to those who are. I know you are. I know. I'm more of like stick to my basics, but and I'll
I'm
drink a
an
nice
I'm
coffee in negative-degree weather, so I won't even do a hot coffee. I
I'm
don't
an
even.
OG basic bitch for
I
sure.
know, and I
Like
love that for you.
OG basic bitch. I will own that till the day that I die, and I'm totally fine with that.
That's
Like,
because we're yin and yang. Like
yes.
you are OG basic girl. I am like I'll dip my toe in some basic stuff, but mostly like I'm like very ritualed. I have like certain things I stick to, and I'm like, no. But you had brought up being a Pisces earlier, and I was like, I think like me being like a goat, like I'm a Leo, so and it's Leo season, so
Yes, it is.
it is. We are coming up on 33 for me in a few weeks, but that's okay. So anyways, you would think I'm a sun sign, like I would just absolutely thrive in this kind of weather, but on a daily basis, I feel like I'm melting and dying away. So
I
that's
mean, I think that is part of the price that you pay for the rest of the year being paradise in Arizona, right?
that's
Like
true. Yeah, we get a
you
lot
have
of
this
hate,
just a
but
little bit. It's a little bit of heat, right? And
yeah.
people always used to ask me that. They're like, "Oh my God, wasn't the summer just so hot?" And I'm like, "Would you rather be hot and just have to like wait until like the PM to go outside and, just kind of just be a little bit more conscious about being outside? Or would you rather have the complete opposite end of the spectrum and have 3 months of cold, frigid, can't go outside without your face hurting, like get stuck in the snow, could possibly get frostbite and die?" Like,
And
which
die.
side of the spectrum
Just
do you want?
escalated.
I mean, I guess you could die in the heat, obviously,
You
too,
really
but like,
could.
you have to choose, right? You have to pick your battle. So it's like, yes, when I moved to Arizona, it was like, I missed the summer, and that made it like so incredible to be able to live there from October and on. And then when summer came, I was like, all right, whatever. This is a small price to pay to live in paradise because Arizona is beautiful, and it was such a beautiful chapter of my life that I will never forget, and I'm so glad that I did it. Like I remember leaving and my mom was like, "If you go and you hate it, come back." And there's, go. And it was more my dad saying that. My mom was like, but um
Yeah.
but I to this day, like, I know I would have made some different choices in life, and I would have always looked back and said, what if I didn't do that? And I'm so, so glad that I did. It led me to some incredible people that in my life now, like yourself, girlfriends that I'm going to have probably until, we're in a home, harassing some male nurses on a daily basis, drinking red wine at 9 a.m., like until we hit that
That's
point.
fair.
These are lifelong friendships that I had the opportunity to make that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. Like, and so I'm so thankful that I went for it. And it was hard, it was challenging, but it is probably one of the best things that I ever did for myself. I made such a transition in who I was. I got to go somewhere where nobody knew who I was. I got to start fresh. I could be whoever I wanted to be. I let everything go from when I was growing up in the small town that I came from. And whenever I got to come back to visit, people were like, "Man, look at you. Like you've changed. Like even you look different." And that was so much validation for me and something that my poor self-esteem needed, that I would recommend it to anybody. Like my soon-to-be sister-in-law, Tyler's sister, she wants to move to Arizona. And I was like, go. And her mom's like, no, absolutely not. Like her whole family's like, no, you can't move that far away. And I was like, I moved when I was her age. So like doing that was the best decision I ever made in life.
Yeah.
And how am I not going to sit there and support her in doing that when I don't feel like I would have found this version of myself that I love so dearly if I didn't go.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that you honed in on the fact that, like, you made so many female friendships and lasting ones as that, right? I mean, I think about so many memories and moments of, like, oh, I'm so happy I did that. And it has mostly to do with because it led me to a friend, or it made me feel a certain way about myself, like feeling confident. And I love that it just isn't, you know, completely geared by romantic, like love and things like that, and making those kinds of decisions. And I know that was like one of them, right? Like you wanted a family, you wanted to broaden your pool and everything, but what you took back from it was friendships. And those were the everlasting relationships that you found. And I know that you had a really, really tough relationship, romantic relationship um, with a male that had an appendage to him. And I'm not necessarily talking about his penis. I'm talking about his head. We're going to call it an appendage because it's fucking useless. Uh, and we'll get into exes and whatnot. But just watching you and even like meeting you in 2017 and then knowing who you are today, like being a part of that growth and seeing it with my own eyeballs and helping you through it has been such a privilege on my end in being your friend, because you're such a good person and you have a good heart, and there's really nothing else to say about that other than I'm lucky to be your friend. Like
I love you.
I'm the lucky one.
I love you.
Seriously.
I could easily turn around and say the exact same thing about you, because honestly, I mean, when we first met, we didn't really like know each other, so we weren't really like, yeah, whatever, okay, we work together. Like, it wasn't like we weren't fast friends. Like, we took a minute to get to know each other and gained our friendship in that. But in that process, and even after becoming your friend, I think one of the things that I loved about you so much is that you know yourself and you love so deeply the people that you love, and you don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about that. Like when it comes to personal and like, let's say male and female relationships, right? Like you're like, if I'm going to love somebody, I'm going to love them. And if you have a problem with that, then you can fuck right off. But that is something that I love about you, is that you love very deeply, but you love with a purpose. And you're not just like throwing it around. It's like, okay, I've made this choice consciously. I'm doing this. And you stick to it. You're a doer. See? You're just circling right back.
I appreciate that. Thank you. What did you say? Oh, when we had met and you were saying that we didn't become fast friends. And a lot of that, and I don't know if I've ever told you this before, I mean, a lot of that came from a lot of my own like psyche at the time of not being confident in myself. I was in the middle of losing weight. I think I was down, let's see, in total I lost 70 pounds, and I think I was down maybe 60, maybe 55 at the time. Like I was still had, like some more to go, and I was in a relationship that I wasn't sure I wanted to be in, and I was a mom to 3 kids at the time, and just like had been in that bubble. And you kind of understand that bubble now, and getting, as I like, my new favorite phrase lately is lost in the sauce. I'm sure that has some sort of drug reference, but I don't really care. I'm going to use it. And anyways, just kind of like lost in that bubble and kind of coming back out and being a server again. And I was kind of doing some intermittent office jobs and like really became a hermit crab. And then you were kind of one of those people that broke me out of it a little bit. I had two girlfriends I had met at the first VIG I worked at before I transferred over to McDowell, and they seemed like great friends, and then it was like one incident happened and it was like I was the worst person in the world, even though it wasn't. I was thinking about this the other day and I'm like, that wasn't my fault. And then it made me think about like actually how many shitty friends I've had and how I am like all for like it's women with women, not women versus women, but sometimes it is women versus women, and it's okay to not be friends with everybody, but it's not okay to treat people like shit. And I'm not perfect. I've had definitely had my faults and had bad friendships and treated people the way they shouldn't have been treated, but I feel like as I've gotten older and I have shifted my mindset and realized the ramifications that it has on other people's feelings and how it makes me feel to be that type of person, I've just gained more self-awareness and started shifting. And so when I met you, I was kind of going through that transformative process. I had a huge like coming to Jesus moment when I was 25 on, okay, I know I had kids young, but what do I want for my future? What do I want for myself? It was like the first time since I was 18 where I really felt like, okay, I'm going to start making decisions for myself. Not just what everybody else wants me to do, i.e. nursing school. I had always wanted to do that. I didn't know if it was really what I wanted to do, so I did it kind of like part for myself, and that was a huge risk for me because I'm like, am I gonna do this? I have been the kind of person to give up on everything. Like, I love that you call me a doer because if you would have known me, like, so in my early 20s, like I gave up. I gave up so easily on everything. I started college, I quit like after a semester. I would start a new job. If I hated it after a week, I wouldn't even give it a chance. Like, I just was always constantly like in survival mode almost, just like I need something that's going to make me feel good now. I need to be successful right now. And it took me so long, and it took nursing school. So like nursing is such a catch-22 for me because it took that like a big risk going into, you know, student loan debt and committing to something like that, moving back in with my dad. That was a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh yeah.
Like letting go, like letting some control go was so hard for me, and it's rewarded me in the best way possible. It's brought me so many new friends and a lot of life lessons. A lot of friends, not a lot, I say a lot, but some friends that I've had to drop, and uh, things like that, and just what has gotten in the way where we clash and realize, oh, we were friends for nursing school, we weren't friends for outside of nursing school. We, you know, I think we all have those type of people that like every phase of life, you know, you might have a friend and they worked for that point, but they're maybe not fitting into the next phase, and that's okay. But not everything needs to end in drama or I don't know why we're not friends anymore. It's like just kind of back up, think about how you guys fizzled away and why maybe that person isn't there anymore. And that's when I think about yours and I's friendship a lot, is like we put the effort in. So, and I've noticed like a lot of friendships that have ended since nursing school, since my relationship with George and everything, like how many people have actually like stuck there. And it's three or four. It's like three or four.
Hey, that's a
And
lot in adulthood, okay? Like
yeah,
there's a lot of people out there that can barely like say like one person is their friend, you know? So,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if you can grab at 3 or 4 in adulthood, I feel like you're killing the
I
game.
would like to note that more than half of them live in another state. So
Such is life.
I've got Desi, you know, she's here with me, she's in state, she's my person, and we're there for each other, and I think that's awesome. And obviously if, you know, you and I lived within a reasonable distance, we would be spending a lot of time together, and we
Absolutely.
stay in contact pretty much on a daily basis anyways. So same with my friend Nina in New York, like she's a constant in my life, and I've actually known her the longest. I've known her since 5th grade, which is freaking wild. We had a period of time where there was little to no contact. Just kind of, we were both in those stages of life. Like she was making a transition to New York, and I was making a transition from breastfeeding to formula feeding. I mean, we just weren't on the same wavelength, and
We just weren't there.
we just weren't there, and that's okay. We came back together, and we've been really close again for a while. And I went out to see her in 2022, and that was a good freaking time. That was a really good time. That
Oh,
was like the
I
last big hoorah I had before like I really settled down with Jorge
mhm.
and decided to have more children and, be a wife. So I
You
got
know,
it.
I love that, and I want to touch on how you said, oh, what was it? The part about like you guys became friends in like the fifth grade, and then you had like little fall off periods throughout, right? Like I can totally relate to that. I have one of my dearest friends, like I guess you could say my first best friend, Christine. We've known each other since we were like 5 or 6 years old. She moved in down the street from me. I still remember the day that I knocked on her door and her house smelled funny because it was a brand new house, so it smelled like paint. But we have been friends since that day. And even though in certain stages of our life we had little fallouts where we would be hanging out with a different group of friends, or we were in like different little phases, or like she had like a longtime boyfriend when we were younger, or, we go through those different phases, but we were never not friends. We would just pick
For
back up
sure.
with each other once in a
Mhm.
while. And now we get to pick back up with each other, living now, me being living in Illinois again, and now me being a mom. And she already has a child. Ella's 4 now, I think. And
Wow.
I
Wow.
know, I
Gosh.
know, I know. She's so tall. She looks like a little model. Like I would not be
Oh,
surprised if she was. She got that
love
sass
that.
too. She's so cute. Um, but now we get to do this phase together. And even though I feel like motherhood is one of the most humbling things in friendships, because it's
Yeah.
you now, me personally, now understanding why my girlfriends that are mothers don't text me back regularly. And I'm like, I understand that now, because before it kind of hurt my feelings. Like I was like, man, like I'm going through it and this person's like not being there for me. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, my child just, stole a pouch and she's squeezing it all over the floor and she's about to run into a wall. And I'm like trying to text my friend back, and I'm like, I got to put my phone down and chase after my child who
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like a toddler already.
That reminds me of when Noodle passed away. And I
Mm,
could not, I know, I couldn't get to you because of one of my children. And while you understood and, it wasn't, you had other resources, but
yeah.
on the other end, like, as the mom and your friend is going through something, you're like, I feel like an asshole that I can't be there and when my friend needs something. And that's, I mean, that's part of motherhood is a lot of sacrificing. And um I definitely can relate to that because it's the emotions of motherhood that I've had. I can't even fit that all in one episode. That's got to be like, a whole series of,
We're going to have a whole separate
yeah,
series about that.
whole separate series of
Absolutely.
motherhood, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Christine, Nina for me, Carly even. Carly and I aren't as talkative and, we still definitely intertwine with our lives and, talk when we can. But, and that's another great example of like a friendship from girlhood into early womanhood into motherhood is Carly. Like we've also known each other since fifth grade. I was walking around our neighborhood and I saw she had a trampoline. So I was like, I want to jump on that trampoline. So I made friends with her and I was like, I want to jump on your trampoline. And that's how we became friends. And she had nerds gumballs. And I thought she was
I,
the coolest fucking chick on the block. Because I'm like, you got
I,
a trampoline and nerds gumballs? Can
I love I
put
love
me
the
in
confidence
coach.
of it. Like I love the confidence of it, like being a child and you're just like, "Oh, that person has something that I want. Cool. Like I want to be friends with them so that I
For
can
sure.
share in that thing." I feel like we do that as adults though too. You're like, "Oh, your man is a bartender at a really cool bar. Cool. Like, do you want to be friends? Like, so then I can go to this really cool bar regularly? Or like, do you, oh, you have like a really cool car. Do you want to be friends? Because I want to
Yeah.
ride in your cool car. Like,
Or I don't know if you've experienced this yet, especially since Lai isn't one yet, and I know you just kind of started going out again and maybe even trying to make mom friends, but like moms who are weed friendly. It's such a taboo subject, and it's like
mm-hmm.
you gotta like feel it out. It's like, oh, okay. You know, you have to work
Right.
it into conversation because people will run the other direction and start judging you for no fucking good reason. It's like, how many bottles of wine did you put back between Monday and Wednesday? Be
Well,
honest.
right. Be honest. It's that that industry is so taboo still because I feel like it's so newly like out on the market, even though it's been, dispensaries and that sort of thing have been,
Yeah.
going on for a while, right? Since what, like 2020. But it's such a taboo thing to talk about, I think, because for such a long time, it was so under the radar that it was like, you had to like low key talk to people about it and it wasn't something you could outwardly say. And I mean, even still, I don't see this happening anywhere near in the future, but like even when I'm like in a business meeting, right, I can easily say like, oh yeah, we need to go have a drink together, or like, oh, I'm gonna have a glass of wine after this meeting. There's no way in hell I could be like, yeah, I want to go smoke a joint after this meeting. Like that could not
Never.
happen.
Ever.
And maybe in like 10 years or so. I don't know where the future is going to go with that, but I
Right.
think because it's labeled as a drug, it is such a weird line to cross, and you can really easily rub somebody the wrong way still if you have an open conversation about it.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in the nursing world. I feel like that's something that we are also very judged for. And I'm like sitting here wondering why, too. Like, is it because it stays in our system longer? So, like, technically, if I smoked on Sunday and I got hurt at work on a Tuesday, it would still come up positive. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to differentiate between are you actually under the influence when this happened, or are you are you sober, are you not high? And it's like
Right.
that. I think maybe that's part of it. I've never really asked, or maybe it's because yeah, it's federally illegal and we are drug tested for it when we get signed on as nurses and things like that. But it makes it difficult because it's like that's just my way of relaxing in my preferred way. Like, I don't drink alcohol anymore. I just want to, at the end of the night, help me sleep. I don't, melatonin couldn't be me. Doesn't touch me. Like, give me the whole bottle. I may still not even fall asleep. I don't want to be on trazodone. I don't want to be on Ambien. Hell no. I took Ambien once and I hallucinated that little green leprechauns were gonna steal my baby.
No.
And it just, it's okay. If you've ever fucked with Ambien, you know what I'm talking about. Like, my mom, well, it's crop top Karen, she not wore, well, she wears crop tops all the time, but no, she took Ambien and wrote a check to pay off her house. Like,
That's insane.
but luckily, it was 3 in the morning, so she couldn't go to the post office and send it off. But like, she went out and trimmed the hedges once on Ambien, like middle of the night. Like, I don't fuck with Ambien. Just heads up, people. Okay, it causes hallucinations and wild things. Like, talk to people who've taken Ambien. Okay, it's not great stuff. But
I've never taken it, but I
just
remember something, I think it was while I was pregnant, that somebody said that you could take Ambien for something, and I can't remember what it was.
it's probably for sleeping because that's when they gave it to me. Like at the end of my
No.
pregnancy. No.
It was something else. Like there it had like some other side effect. I can't
Oh.
remember. I'm gonna have to look it up after
Don't
this
ask me.
video.
You know what? Just because I'm a nurse doesn't know. I don't know all the drug things. And if you're
You're
a
not
nurse
a
who claims that,
pharmacist.
tell me that you're a cardiac ICU nurse without telling me you're a cardiac ICU nurse. Because
You're not a pharmacist, okay?
no, I'm definitely not a pharmacist. No, no. But, anyways, I love us.
Oh
We
yeah.
just get so off topic
I
all
know.
the
I know.
time.
That's what editing's for.
Nah, that's okay. We can leave it. I'm just gonna
It's
upload
fine.
the whole thing. We're gonna raw
It's
dog
just
it this time. Who cares?
fuck it.
Who
Gangster
cares? You
style.
either
I
like
love
us or
it.
you don't. You're either coming back next week or you're not. But
I
that's just
mean,
it.
we're here. We're not really worried if you are or not. We are,
We are
but not really.
on the low.
Yeah,
A
on
little
the
bit. You
low.
know, we kind of need like at least 10 followers.
On the low, really need you.
Listen
But,
to us. Follow us
right,
on the Girlhood Hangover Instagram if you haven't already.
right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about, um, oh, what was I going to ask you? So with this taking chances and like making big decisions and all of that, um, do you think that you missed out on anything in life by making the decision to be a mom young?
Yeah, I sat on that for a long time and beat myself up for it for a decade, maybe even longer than a decade, while I was literally changing diapers and getting shit and thrown up on. I watched everybody go through, well, not everybody, but a lot of my friends go through their first semesters of college, of traveling the world, of really navigating life a lot. What I thought was easier, right? We all have our struggles and we all have our challenges, and I know that now. And I made my life very challenging having to care for another human. I didn't have money. I didn't have a place to live besides my parents' house, and it was, are they going to let me? I mean, at that point, I was 18. I had a baby. Um, Not even 2 years later, I got pregnant again and had a second child by right after my 20th birthday. So, making life even more challenging. I was in a very toxic, abusive relationship that also set me back, that I thought was love, and that I finally got the courage to leave when our second child was just a few months old. Edge was probably 3 or 4 months when I was like, yeah, see you later. And that was a huge jump for me. Like, I moved in with a friend. I was paying all my bills on my own. It was rough. I had to borrow money, which I was not proud of. I felt like such a loser constantly. And I thought I missed out on like the most pivotal time of my life. And that's just not true. I just had a different path in life. And I still got to do a lot of really cool things. And I still got to be a hood rat with my girlfriends when I turned 21 and go out and shake my ass in probably one too many strip clubs. Not as the stripper. Let me make that very clear. I was never a stripper. It's just apparently Desi and I frequented with a group of friends. It's called Sin Sundays at Jaguars, if you were a member of the Phoenix area.
Hey,
You may remember.
I liked going to the strip club in my early
It
20s
was
when
fun.
because well, I think my favorite part about it is I was cocktail waitressing at the time, and I would meet up with the other girls that I worked with, and we would go there because the guys aren't there for you. They're there for the
For
strippers.
sure.
So
That
they
was
leave you
also
alone.
great.
I
Yes.
loved that part because, like, when you're cocktail waitressing, it's like, okay, you got to turn it on. You got to be this
Yes.
cute little actress for the night, and you have to deal with a lot of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And you have to feed into a lot of gross disgustingness. There is a lot of fun to be had, absolutely, but you
Absolutely.
know, some of it is it's customer service. Some of it you don't want to do.
For sure.
Um, and we would love going there beforehand because the guys would just leave us alone.
Yeah. Yeah, they sure did. And it also helped that, like, when we would go to Jags, like, we were with the DJ, we were with Fat Sam. And so we got in for free, we got VIP area. I don't think the servers ever liked us because the guys that were coming in that gave them attention that weren't necessarily there for the strippers, although they were all getting lap dances too. Like, they would always give us dirty looks. But again, we didn't care. It was Sin Sundays. It was dollar you call it. Like,
I don't even think anywhere
okay.
does that shit
I
anymore.
don't think
Like,
so.
I
Bring back
remember that.
2012
I
pricing.
remember
No,
doing that.
13. 2013.
I remember doing that in like maybe 2011, around that same time, right?
Yeah.
Because I graduated from college in 2011. I turned 22 that year. I don't know. Anyways, there was a place by us in good old Rockford, Illinois called Fatty's, and they had,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it was like a like girls' night or something like that, like a dollar you call it, or like, yeah, it was dollar you call it. And our friend's boyfriend was the bartender. Somebody knew the bouncer. This place was something else. There was carpet in parts of it. I will just leave it
Oh,
at that.
yeah, there were carpets at Jack's. It was bad.
It's nasty.
Yeah, I don't even want to know. But
I feel
yeah.
like everybody has one of those. Like everybody has one of those like nasty hometown bars where you
Oh,
went,
yeah.
whether you were of age or not, and they
That
had dollar
probably
U
wasn't even.
collets.
Yeah, that probably wasn't even the worst place that Desi and I crawled off to. I mean, she's been my partner in crime since I was 16. So, like, her and I went through. We've got some stories for
I mean,
sure.
you had more options though too. Like growing up in
Yeah,
the valley, you definitely had more options. Like
yeah,
I had Rockford, and
yeah.
that was it. I mean,
I
yes,
mean,
obviously our small town surrounding, but like
yeah.
it was country dive bars and that's
We
it.
were well, we were in Maricopa where we met. If you are not familiar, Maricopa, not Maricopa County in Arizona, it's called Maricopa. It's the city of Maricopa, and it's small. Like it started out as like a little podunk country farm town. Like it's not anything cute. So that's where we met, and we were traveling into Phoenix to do all this hood rat shit and like crazy old town Mill Avenue. I don't even know if people still go to Mill Avenue anymore. I don't really know what that scene is like. I'd have to, really tap
I
into
would
my
assume there's
my
still a college
niece.
there.
Yeah.
There's they got to be still going there.
Yeah, there are lots of great hood rat places, and anyways,
I
so
feel like the hood rat phase is important. Okay,
we
I'll
will,
just say
yeah,
that before
especially our
we wrap
friendship,
up.
early
You
womanhood. You had to go
Yes,
through
you
it.
have to do hood rat shit with your friends. It's a bonding experience. It's a rite of passage, just like going to prom. You have to do hood rat shit
Absolutely.
with your friends. The shit that you look back on when you're an old, wrinkly lady and you're like, damn, we did do
Nostalgia.
some shit, you know? So
Hmm.
everybody, it's a part of life.
It is. But okay. So, anyways, moral of the story, guys: take risks, move, break up with that guy. He's probably a loser. Go on that trip, do something crazy, go to school if you want to, if it's actually going to do something for you, start a podcast, just do whatever, set your mind free,
Fall in love,
let
do
your
hood
tits
rat shit
out.
with your
I don't
friends.
care. Show your tits, shake your ass, do what you need to do, because that's life. And we're going to get into so many more fun topics and so many more fun things to talk about and laugh about and make more memories with you on podcasting.
Yes, I love it.
I'm
I'm
excited.
excited to see where this adventure takes us and some of the topics that we're going to be talking about. I'm really excited about this journey with you. I wouldn't do it with anybody else.
Don't be
So,
worried.
yep. My goodness.
A little
So, yep.
bit.
So, thank you for tuning in to the Girlhood Hangover. I'm Steph, that's Jax, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.
Also, I'm at Jackie Pinkston on Instagram. Stephanie is going to keep her personal page personal, and that is totally fine. She will post some fun stuff on our combined Insta, and then eventually TikTok. You can find us on there. I am going to get that up and running, and we're going to have some fun on TikTok because that's where the kids are at these days. So
We got to be where the kids
mine
are.
make
All
fun
right.
of me for being on there, but I don't really care. So you know what? I pay your bills, so.
And maybe this could, pay some bills at some point. So here we are. We're
Absolutely.
just we're
So
just out here taking chances.
have a great week. We'll see you next week.
See you soon.
Bye.